I started my sub voyage together with Michelin in Lisbon, coming home reviewing the Cayenne Turbo, and I was so attractive to the Coupe lines. But one side of me said, Janko, be rational. A Coupe SUV, getting rid of that extra space, typical Swedish, that 75% of all cars sold in Sweden are station wagon or SUVs. That's why I'm getting petrified. Well, I think petrified is the right word in this case, but the feeling when you are strongly attractive to the design, but it's not the right type of car because you want to be rational. It's like a seductive woman that, don't fall in love with that woman because, it's going to ruin your entire life. That was the feeling I had. But I always fall for the seductive woman. Well, it's the truth because I married one. And I bought a Coupe, and neither the Coupe or my wife has destroyed it. In fact, it has enriched it with spreading that extra spice in life. I admit, I was wrong not once but twice about this car. I think I even called it a rehab center for a petrol head with a hybrid, and I had some judgment about the lines. To start with, I thought that the Coupe of the Cayenne would be like the BMW X6 Vulgar. It turns out that elegant will be the most appropriate word for this beautiful shape that the Cayenne has founded. Yes, I know the BMW X6 was first with having an SUV like a Coupe, a sports car, whatever it's called, but the lines that this car actually creates, well, it kind of make me not look at the regular Cayenne. Until recently, I've been quite criticizing towards dual drivetrain in a vehicle, but it kind of makes sense when you own one. I charge my car back and forth to work. I actually have the possibility to charge my car at work, making it, well, more or less an electric car. But when I go on longer trips with my family, the combustion engine is always ready for me to make that long-term trip out in the countryside, perhaps going skiing, etc. And also what I reckon is that to reach a proper comfort level when it is colder climate, then it kind of drains the battery, where I actually think still the heat from the combustion engine helps better to heat up the Coupe. Okay, my prerequisite is quite simple. I have 9-point-something kilometers to work, and I have the possibility to charge my vehicle at work and at home. As a consequence, I have only fueled up my car twice since I bought it, heading for 3,624 kilometers, approaching 4,000. The funny thing is that if I look at the consumption of the car since it was new, I'm heading for 5.5 liters for 100 kilometers according to the PCM computer. But I can actually confirm that because I have measuring all the fuels that I have filled up the car with in combination with how many kilometers I've been driven, and that's the ugly truth. I have a 2.3 ton vehicle that actually handles 5.2 to 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. I think that is amazing if you ask me. I think we all could agree on that is very low number, especially for a huge family car that actually fits the family. Dixie. And it's not just that. This car, please have a look, have a proper tow bar. And with that, you could put, well, in this case, Thule has provided me with some easy tools. And these are, well, for a family father, it's a gift from heaven because it is so easy to fit them and they are extremely practical. You just take your bike and put it on, and it's not just that it is convenient to fit it, it is convenient in all ways, especially when you fix it and make it safe in traffic. And now you perhaps wonder, how am I gonna close the door when I have fitted it? Well, it is a proper Swedish product, so I just flip it down. That is how easy it is. And a tow bar is extremely useful for a family vehicle, and the electric vehicles does not provide that. Well, I know that Tesla has that on the Model X, but apparently the batteries are heavily weared out if they use it. Also, if you don't equip your Taycan, for example, with a glass roof, then you will not be able to fit a roof box on the roof. Therefore, the hybrid grows on me. It gives me the flexibility, it gives me that, utility I need for a family travel.
It's calling me, like the rainbow, It's calling me, like the rainbow.
Oh, Sweden is so beautiful at this type of year. The first snow has arrived, even though it's very little, but it shines up the darkness, and you get that crisp, dry air, and you can go out for a ride and enjoy it. It's a slippery roads, but nevertheless, it's a joy to drive. You don't have to go at high speed at all time to enjoy the art of driving. It's all about embracing the prerequisites, the nature in the vehicle, the tires. Remember, the tires are the composer of the art of driving. And at this point, when the sun shines and the snow sparkles, I'm sorry, getting totally carried away here, but it is so nice. Father of the year or not, but having proper winter tires on your vehicle is one way to take responsibility for your family. Last year I got the opportunity to test out Michelin's brand new X-Ice North full. And when I picked up the vehicle, I almost returned the same day to Porsche Center to have these tires fitted on my Cayenne. So the idea of driving an SUV is actually to be active. I think Porsche call it sports car together. And since this is my fourth Cayenne, I haven't said that before, a lot of repeating, sorry for that, but I am a biased in this case. It kind of gives you the answer for everything. It doesn't matter if you go out tenting with your family. Yes, I like tenting rather than hotels. Yes, I'm an odd bloke. I do appreciate the way I can go to work with a relaxing, the Bose sound system. Remember, that's a must-have tick on the four-door saloons from Porsche. Sports car, forget about it. But on the Cayennes, Macans and Panamera Taycans, I need to add as well, the Bose sound system are beautiful. And as for the Burmeister system, it is a step further ahead, but that will obviously make you bankruptcy. Well, that's the case, isn't it? Beautiful car to just enjoy also off-roading. I haven't done much off-roading with this car. I tested it out a couple of weeks ago. I am very satisfied with the way it behaves, even though, as I mentioned before, it's a heavy vehicle. I'd rather have the lighter Cayennes with no battery inside when I go for the Cayenne Turbo was spectacular. And also the ride height is a bit higher on the regular Cayenne that I would actually prefer going off-road. But the true to off-road was the Cayenne 955. During these days I could lock the center differential lock, well, that's something that you cannot do anymore. That's just how it is. Things change as they equip their first cars, going with the possibility to really go off-roading. But unfortunately, well, the customer never used it. But let's face it, all the Cayennes are, well, living out in the city side where, well, the biggest obstacle is perhaps the sidewalk bump that needs to be climbed. I guess they don't go out on the true forest to explore Mother Earth. No, most Cayenne owners are stuck in the cities trying to find out where to find the next shopping booth. Such a waste of technology being with these cars in the city, but that's how it is, isn't it? Well, I guess some of us are right, as SUV does not look good. But I believe that the spectacular Porsche lines that Porsche has created with the Coupe, well, at least it's a good effort to really get the SUV looking spectacular. Jet black metallic, oof, I love it. But I tell you this much, I clean my car more than I drive it in the winter. I prefer a silver metallic color on the winter roads. Snort green calipers actually look good towards the jet black metallic, but remember what I've always said, pay attention to the color of the calipers when you select the color of the car. Well, in this case I think actually it looks good, and towards the jet black I might keep the snort green calipers. You know, I just pushed the brakes to get into the parking lot so a larger truck could pass me, and when you touch the brake with your foot, actually the brake calipers is not working directly, just as the Taycan, the hybrids from Porsche start to decelerate with the electric engine, recharging those batteries. So bear in mind, when you put your foot on the brakes, that is not from the beginning the brake calipers working, it's the electric engine. And now recharging, I mean, that's quite cool, isn't it? I mean, I'm putting my foot on the brake and no brake discs are even being weared out. It's just the electric engine, you know, sucking that electricity back, energy back into the battery so I can reuse it. Ooh. Well, that's how it is, isn't it? That's the perk with having an electric engine, that you regenerate the force.
Speaking of electricity and perhaps lights, one of the best options you could get to the new generation Cayenne is the Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus. This one does not have this option and I truly miss it.
Let's do an owner's perspective of the Cayenne Coupe. First of all, this is a solid product. The funny thing though is that this car is actually built in Cayenne, so German guys pick up the pace, because this is a more solid manufactured fitted car than all others in the Porsche range today. That will obviously be changed, but you feel it. Also, please pay attention to the leather. A car like the Cayenne deserves the leather, even though you will not get the vegan award for adding the leather inside, but it really put that little extra inside the cabin. Recommendation of mine. The PCM system is pure rubbish. It is a delay. You push it and you have a delay. I have tested it with and without Apple CarPlay. I think the Apple CarPlay works best, I would say, but nevertheless it takes time to connect, etc. I have the remote connection. BMW, for an example, even though you take those systems that I drive, I believe it is called the really early ones, it's better than the PCM system. You can configure it according to your wishes, but that's not good enough. It's slow, it does not give me the information that I want, regardless if I modify it according to my wishes. Well, my wishes cannot be reached. I want an ideal quick system. The PCM system also have this device management, but it is pure rubbish, because in ID it's perfect. It means that you would like to have streaming from one phone, incoming phone call from another, etc. So this is an administration interface. But the problem is, when my son jumps into the car, he has to spend about 5 minutes until it properly works. That's rubbish if you ask me. 2.3 tons, that actually feels. Remember, I have driven so many Porsches over the years, and like with the Panamera Turbo SE hybrid and my own hybrid, well, it's not that engaging to hit the B roads as perhaps it is with the normal aspirated combustion engines Cayenne, where we have 300 kilo less weight to handle when we drive. Back seat. You know, the back seat is the party piece of the Cayenne. When I go on trips with my family, my wife drives, my son is in the front, and I am relaxing in the back. The space that it gives is spectacular. But I have two things that I would like to highlight. First of all, this is a proper 2+2 seater. A Porsche should be a 2-seater or a 4-seater, nothing else. Here I have the comfortable armrest and extra space to put my stuff in. The second is the 4 zones climate control. This is a very huge vehicle, and with the 4-zone climate control, the comfort level increases dramatically. So if you are in the market to option out the Cayenne, well, I highly recommend it. Also, the laminated window that I unfortunately does not have on my car is something that I recommend. I had that on my previous Cayenne. But take a look at the spectacular glass roof. I cannot stress enough how much I prefer the glass roofs in comparison to the lightweight package carbon fiber roof. Remember, if you option out your Coupe with the carbon fiber lightweight package, you will lose a bit of the comfort since it does not have as much isolated material from the outside noise. It is so quiet to drive this car. Remember, I have the Michelin X-Ice North 4 with a lot of studs. Nevertheless, well, obviously that's not fair because the tires are so well balanced in terms of grip and noise. So it's not a fair comparison, but nevertheless, with studded tires, again, the cabin is quiet, it's a smooth ride. You have everything about your fingertips. So nice, so beautiful, so elegant. I'm definitely biased. This is my 4th Cayenne, and I love the Cayennes from the Porsche range. It takes me off-road, on-road. I have been competing Michelin, Porsche Slalom Cup, etc. And I adore being behind the steering wheel. It gives me so many options. I can bring my family with in a sports car together experience. Remember that you don't buy a Porsche for your PCM system, I tell you this much, but it is to get that connection to the road, or as I call it, the art of driving. And I have bought a Coupe, but neither the Coupe or my wife has destroyed my life. In fact, it has enriched it. And I love both I actually love my wife much more than the cars. Ridiculous. Now we have heavy traffic ahead. Let's just do a gentle regeneration of the energy through the electric engine into the batteries and stop the vehicle for a second for my dear traffic companion pass through the spectacular Swedish country roads. Yeah, let's say hi. Love it. And you basically afford to, eat that fast food instead of, buying a proper meal at a proper restaurant. Remember the old good days when Michelin had the red maps to guide you through the perfect restaurants while you were traveling. Those days are long gone, and today we are left just with exclusive restaurants from Michelin with a Michelin guide. Yeah, things are different these days. I'm blathering a lot these days, doesn't I? But nevertheless, a beautiful Mini ahead. Let's turn right here. Spectacular drive, I must admit, I had today. So what do you reckon? White or black Cayenne? I have studied these two colors and I cannot decide. Okay, the white car has the lightweight package. By the way, lightweight package on a Cayenne, that's like saying that, do you want life vest or do you, I'm not sure what to describe that way. That was actually quite funny because adding a lightweight package to the Cayenne, these are extremely heavy vehicles, and what's lightweight? Ridiculous, like lifting off a tennis ball out of a ship. Ridiculous. What am I talking about? A lot of rubbish, if you ask me. I mean, these are so heavy that I cannot even lift them on my lift in the garage. Two things. This looks like a hearse because it does not have this tinted front window. This has red rear lights. This is black. Quite interesting to view them. Love the design of the wheels. Actually, again, they look pretty much exactly like the GT4 rims. Love the white calipers with a white paint color. Rubbish. Rubbish, 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 rubbish. Take a look. White and black, what do you prefer?